This lecture we will deal with some basic graphs. You have some idea about the graphs, and don't worry about anything that since graph is not limited, there are many graphs, many discussion can be done on the graph, but here we are dealing with only conceptual part which will be helpful in understanding physics on. Okay, not we are dealing with all kinds of graph, so you can have the basic understanding from here, and you may predict anything with the help of graph, no problem at all. And but you will have the mastery only when you come across the graph section in the mathematical part. So let's try to understand. First, straight line. We will learn straight line first. Then we will learn parabola. Next we will learn circle. Next we will learn ellipse, then hyperbola. All we will get only the basic understanding, which will be more than enough when dealing with the question of physics for the JEE level or the NEET level. Okay, so let's straight line. We'll deal with straight line. What is the general equation of straight line? It is y equals to mx plus c. You have to remember this. Mind it. For solving the numericals, you have to remember this. What is m here? Slope of the straight line. C, positive y-intercept. What does it mean, positive y-intercept? It is the y-coordinate. It is the y-coordinate of the point at which the graph is cutting the y-axis. It is the y-coordinate of the point at which graph is cutting the y-axis. Let's say we have a graph like this, where it is cutting this one. So this will be 0 comma c. This will be 0 comma c, and here from here you will get theta, and m will be obtained by tan theta. Mind it. Okay, so there are two special straight lines, like one is like this, parallel to x-axis. The equation of this particular thing will be y is equals to constant, and another one is parallel to y-axis. Equation for this line will be x equals to constant. Remember, that is why we say the equation of x-axis is y equals to 0, and the equation of y-axis as x equals to 0. Remember, since here we can say that the line will be like this. This is basically the c here. You can say it is c comma 0, and you can say 0 comma c here. This is c means here. Okay, this c is not the y-intercept. This c is basically I'm taking as constant, so I'm putting as c dash, so you don't have the confusion over here. Okay, these are two special cases which you have to understand. Okay, that when the line is parallel to x-axis and parallel to y-axis, this is enough for the straight line. Okay, next is parabola. Parabola, basically a quadratic equation. Y is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, any quadratic equation appearing like this will be a parabolic equation. Okay, but we don't have to get a very large content over the parabola here. We will deal only with the standard parabolas, which are helpful for physics purpose. Okay, and a lot to know in parabola, in coordinate geometry, in mathematical section. Okay, so don't think like this is enough for mathematics as well. This is almost enough for the physics section. Okay, that's it. Okay, let me tell you how to draw a graph. A graph is basically being drawn with the help of x coordinate and y coordinate. You can imagine, you can draw a table like here, and you can put x here, or you can put y here for any kind of graph. You can assume by yourself as some value of x. Let's say it is 0. Then you will put the x value of x here, and you will obtain the value of y. Similarly, you can imagine another x. You will put in this equation, you will obtain another y, and similarly you will carry on. So you understood that you will obtain as much as the point. If you obtain too much points in this way and then join it bit by bit, you will obtain the shape, and with the help of those things only we can say that what kind of shape will be that. So this is very traditional way to draw a graph. Okay, now we have computers, so we don't have to do such a things. Okay, now you have to understand this is the basic way, traditional way, conventional way to draw any kind of graph, either it is straight line, circle, parabola, whatever. Okay, here you have to understand that equation of parabola is basically a quadratic equation appearing like this, and we will have four standard parabolas. One is like this, another is like this. Okay, remember, one is like this, another is like this. Practical example of parabola is basically whenever you centrifuge a glass of a glass full of water with the help of a spoon, right? Whenever you stir a, whenever you stir, let's say you want to dissolve sugar in water, you will take a spoon and then you will rotate it. Then you will observe that from the upper part of the from the top view of the glass, you will observe that what kind of shape the water is obtaining while stirring. So you will see that this type of shape will be formed at the upper part, at the upper surface of the water, and that particular thing is three-dimensional, and that is made by rotating a parabola. That is why we can say that thing is paraboloid. But here it is two-dimensional structure, so it is parabola. What I'm saying, if you take a container here like this, container here and water here, and you start rotating here this particular thing in this way, from here you're starting uh, this particular shape will transform into this way, right? And this upper part is basically a combination of many parabolas. I hope you understand the practical example. Fine. So this particular thing, this shape, what do you have to understand? That the equation of this is x square, sorry, y square equals to 4ax, where you have to understand this 4a is positive and a constant. What is the equation of this? Y square equals to minus 4ax. You have to understand this 4a excluding minus is positive. This is x square equals to 4ay. Again 4a positive. This is x square minus 4ay. Again 4a excluding negative is positive. Cool. You have to mind it, you have to keep it, all of the equation in mind. That is important here in the discussion. Next is let's say ellipse. Ellipse. So what are the equation of ellipse? Let's say standard equation of ellipse is x square by a square plus y square by b square equals to 1. Mind it that this a square is coefficient of x square, this b square is coefficient of y square. It is not necessary that you have to write by a square or b square. This is standard way. You may write it like cx square instead of 1 by square. You may write it like dy square equals to 1. Okay, so a square and b square is a standard way to write down, but you have to understand 1 by a square is like coefficient of x square, 1 by b square is coefficient of a y square. So this is the very equation of very standard ellipse. Okay, how will it appear? It will appear like this. It will appear like this. This is the shape of ellipse, somewhat like ostrich egg, but ostrich egg is three-dimensional shape. So if you rotate ellipse, you will get ellipsoid. Okay, this kind of things. Cool, very good. So here, what are the x and what are the a and b in this graph? This is a comma 0, this is 0 comma 0, this is minus a comma 0, this is 0 comma b, and this is 0 comma minus b. Similarly, you can point it here also, right? This is a comma 0, minus a comma 0, 0 comma b, and 0 comma minus b. Eccentricity has two focus, which you have to understand for the Kepler's law. One focus here, one focus here, f1, f2, and this is located at ae comma 0, and this is minus ae comma 0. And this e is called eccentricity, a constant one, which is having the formula 1 minus b square by a square root over. Okay. Similarly, we have two focus here also. With the help of b, you can define this one. Okay. Now, moving ahead. Next we have circle. Circle, as you are well aware, it is a special case of ellipse when the coefficients become same. It means it becomes x square plus y square equals to a square. Okay, or you can simply say that it is special case of ellipse, when 1 by a square becomes 1 by b square. Okay, and sometimes if you have to understand that how will the graph will appear, it is something like this. Here a becomes b, so this a here basically defined as a radius. Okay, this is how you can see, right? So what is a radius of the circle? What is the center line? 0, 0. I hope you understand, right? Next, what is next? Next is hyperbola. So in hyperbola, basically you have to read only rectangular hyperbola, whose equation is x times y equals to constant. X times y equals to constant. This is called rectangular hyperbola. How will it appear? It will appear like this. Rectangular hyperbola will appear like this, like this, like this. It will appear in two format. It will always appear in a pair basically. So like this. Okay, and there can be many rectangular hyperbola as well. These are two standard which you have to keep in mind, that both are standard hyperbola's equation. This c is constant and the equation is something like this. Okay, remember. Okay, very good. Okay, so basically these two lines are having significance, that these two will never intersect this particular graph, and it will only going to be intersect at infinity, which is not defined, and that is why these two lines are called as asymptotes. These two lines are the lines which will cut, or which will touch the graph at infinity. Again here also these are two asymptotes. All right, so here x-axis and y-axis becomes asymptotes of the hyperbola, and therefore this is very standard rectangular hyperbola, and rectangular asymptotes can be different also, and then we will come to know in mathematical part, if you are a student of JEE, what are the other things in hyperbola. You have to deal with at least 2 months or 1.5 months to get the clarity or command over the whole coordinate geometry of JEE level. Okay, so these are enough for doing the questions in physics, and not more than that. If you are interested to get some more knowledge about this, so wait and watch coordinate geometry of the mathematical section. Okay, not here, we are going to discuss this. That's the end of the lecture, and you have to keep all these in mind. Okay, thank you so much, and you have to keep the equation in your mind, remember, otherwise there is no meaning of discussion of this section called graph. I hope everything is clear to you people, and don't panic, and don't be crazy that you have to learn everything here. Everything has a different place. Everything has a different time to learn. Not at a time. If you want to get involved in some deeper thing, you are basically losing your time, and you are basically losing your focus, whatever the things on which you have to put the focus in solving the numericals and solving the questions, or putting in getting more knowledge at the particular thing. Meanwhile, you are losing your track in getting your exam to be cleared. Thank you.